Welcome back. So, good news. No Hope for Yesterday is now at 52,044 words. Isn't that exciting, Ace? 52,044 words. So we are officially novel length at this point with No Hope for Yesterday. Stop. So, I'm excited. I'm happy with it. It's 20 chapters. I'm feeling like No Hope for Yesterday is very much kind of narrowing in and focusing in on the characters and how their world is changing. Remember that No Hope for Yesterday is this in-between of like, in No Place Like Tomorrow, we had to get from there was nothing to fight off the society and everybody who had magic was just hiding, it was just underground, to we have to get now into No Cure for Today, which is book 3, where the antagonist is officially revealed, where there's that final fight for magic, and where the OPMRB, which is the Organization for the Protection of Magical Realms and Beings, has to face off against the society and actually, fight that battle and ultimately win that war for magic. But in the interim, I have to establish there's these 5 years where book 1 ends and then book 2 starts. There's this 5-year gap in between the two, and a lot has shifted and changed in those 5 years. And so I'm taking book 2 to kind of build and establish what has changed, bring in new characters, and establish better old characters, so that by the time we get to the end of book 2, the world feels really real. Everybody has skin in the game. Everybody is there to take on the society, come up against the society, and play this game of like, all right, we know we have to go to war. Here's how we go to war. So book 2 is what gets us to the point of we have to go to war. That's what book 2 is doing, and that's No Hope for Yesterday. I know I usually do a reading on the 10,000 word update, and this is the 50,000 word update, so this should be the 5th reading. I didn't do a reading for the 40,000 word update, and I'm not going to do a reading for the 50,000 word update. For the 50,000 word update, I'm instead going to give you a character rundown. Now, I'm going to give you a character rundown without revealing the antagonist, because I want the antagonist reveal to be as real for the readers as it is for the characters. The antagonist exists in No Hope for Yesterday. The antagonist exists. They are in the OPMRB. They are interacting with our main characters. And I want it to be as shocking for the reader as it is for the characters, because even though Hezekiah technically knows who the bad guy is, even Hezekiah can't believe that that person is actually the bad guy, because Hezekiah gets to know the bad guy and is like, actually, I don't think the bad guy could be the bad guy. I think maybe I was told wrong. So I actually created a character list because I knew that this was going to get a little out of hand. So there is a character list that will be released with the novels. It includes the name of the character, their role, notes about them, what the reader needs to know, and then when they first show up in the story. Most of them show up for the first time in No Place Like Tomorrow, but some of them show up for the first time in No Hope for Yesterday. So let me just roll through. I'm not going to reveal roles in the story because that will reveal my antagonist, but let me tell you the character's name and kind of the notes about them. So, if you don't want to hear anymore, you want to end the video here because it'll get long, go ahead and end the video here. I'll sign off. There's No Place Like Tomorrow. If you're still here, let's go. Character list. First up, Eaton. Obviously, Eaton is our main character. Eaton is my Storm Mage. He's the first character you meet in the entire series, and he's awesome. We love him. Second, Valens. Valens is my Black Dragon. He is of the True King line, and he actually inherited the powers of a True King, so he's the one that would become True King if he was called on. Valens has 2 mates, Taj and Jairus. He has a son, Cyprin, and he has a previous mate who was Shiloh, and Shiloh is Cyprin's mother. Taj and Jairus are both male. I know, y'all are going to get on about that. Go for it. I don't care. Next, Cyprin. He's a black dragon. He's of the True King line because he's Valen's son. Cyprin did not inherit the power of the True King, so if True Kings are called upon, and the black dragon line specifically is called upon, it would not fall to Cyprin. Cyprin is not the one who inherited that line. Cyprin has 2 mates, Jevin and Cheyenne. Jevin is a green dragon, and he's Cyprin's mate, one of them. He's also mated to Cheyenne, obviously. Jevin describes himself as a green dragon from a line of no significance, because Jevin's bloodline among the green dragons is kind of not known. He's not like an important, in the ranking of dragons, he's not up real high. Zephyr is a feathered purple dragon. She's the dragon that Valens and Eaton save in chapter 5 of No Place Like Tomorrow. And so she's kind of the first one to join that little partnership. And she's the one that will hang by Eaton's side. Even though she hates humans, and she does, and she will stand by that. Eaton is her human. Like, Eaton, she's just accepted that Eaton is there, and Eaton is a part of this deal. And she even kind of swears fealty to him. And if anybody tried to kill Eaton, she would kill everybody in the room and then herself. So we love Zephyr. We stan Zephyr. Zephyr does get a mate. I have made that decision. And his name is Bailey. And he will show up in No Hope for Yesterday. Next up is Jira. Jira is one of my Nuradhim. Yes, that is a word I created. It translates, everybody kind of calls them blood mages, but that's not accurate. They're actually life wielders. They're immensely powerful. It's kind of crazy. I might have overpowered them just a touch. Jira is a badass, and I love her, and she has red hair and freckles and green eyes, and she just, it screams Merida from Brave in the best way possible, and we love Jira. Jira and Eaton end up in a relationship. They're really cute together. I actually really like them. Jira was previously in a relationship with one of the other Nuradhim, whose name was Jeremiah. He's mentioned briefly in No Place Like Tomorrow, but he doesn't get any screen time, so he's not on the character list. Next up, we have Drake. Drake is the pure sorcerer. He shows up with Valens and Taj and Jairus in No Hope for Yesterday. In the first chapter, they kind of crash Eaton's raid, where they save Hezekiah. And Drake's just... he's kind of a goofball. He's a little bit incompetent, or at least seems to be incompetent in some ways. He causes a whole disaster in one of the chapters of No Hope for Yesterday, where he kind of breaks a communications array and Eaton gets real mad at him, and it's a whole shenanigans. As a pure sorcerer, he has what's called a Doramato, and so it's like a living tattoo on his back that looks like a dragon. It's kind of cool. I get into more details of it later on in No Hope for Yesterday. Next up, we have Taj and Jairus. They're both black dragons. They are Valen's current mates. Taj is the more powerful of the two. Taj and Valens both pull gold, but Jairus only pulls silver, so Jairus is the weakest of the 3 mates. Taj is the shorter one. He's a little more like kind of this casual type B, go with the flow type, that's very much like, I'm here and I'm gonna hang out and whatever. He's the one that's a little more touchy-feely. So in scenes where like the 3 of them are together, it's usually like Taj will put himself next to Valens and just kind of like lean into him or have like an arm around his waist. He's kind of that partner in the relationship. And then Jairus is a little more like clean cut, put together type A type personality. Like, we're going to go to dinner and we're going to be on time. Taj, do not stop to go to the bathroom before we walk out the door. Like, that's more Jairus. He's very elegant. He's very put together. He's the weakest of the three, but he has the most sway over all of them. Jairus is also a dream weaver. So he has this genetic ability to manipulate other people's dreams, usually to positive ends. And he attempts to use this talent on Valens, and it doesn't work very well. We won't go there right now. Cheyenne exists. She is Jevin and Cyprin's female. She's a black dragon, which makes Valens incredibly happy because he wants nothing more than for his kid to actually have babies, and you can't do that in a trio of all males, so it works out. Cheyenne's pretty cool. She's pretty mellow. She doesn't get a whole lot of screen time. Tiresias is a silver dragon. He has the gift of prophecy. He shows up once, but he has a significant role in that one time he shows up. So he makes it onto the character list, but there's not a whole lot that you need to know about him. Bailey is a feathered purple dragon, and he is Zephyr's mate. He is also a pirate. I've been on a little bit of a pirate kick lately, and no, I'm not going to apologize. He's a pirate, and so he lives his life on the water in a ship, which is super unusual for feathered purple dragons, because feathered purple dragons don't do well in the wet. Their feathers don't do well in the wet. So he's kind of fun. Q. Now we're getting into kind of my other list here. Q is a Reaper. He shows up in No Hope. They. Q does not actually have a gender. Yeah, none of the Reapers do. There's a couple Reapers that I've messed with, that I've written scenes with, and none of them actually have genders. And Q is no exception. Q is a Reaper, and Q is the one that sends Hezekiah out on his mission to find Big Bad Evil. So, you can thank Q for Hezekiah getting captured by Colt. I literally put in my notes for Q, mysterious boy. Austin and Aaron are empaths and psychologists. They work for the OPMRB, and they are in a situationship with each other. I say situationship because Austin was married to Colt, is still on a technicality married to Colt, so there's a whole situation going on there. Red is the head healer at the OPMRB. She's cool. We love her. High Prince Hezekiah Stormfast, you've met, and High Princess Jelana Stormfast. There are Fae pair, our High Prince and Princess, and they're epic, and we love them. Jelana doesn't get a whole lot of screen time, but Hezekiah does, especially in No Hope for Yesterday. Hezekiah comes back onto the screen. Caleb is Hezekiah's main guard and BFF, and my little note says, is he more? I don't know. Nobody does. Because they have that kind of relationship that just reminds me of Arthur and Merlin from BBC Merlin, but a little less inherently gay. So I'm not sure about them. Hezekiah is married, but it was a forced marriage, so I take that as you will. Jonas, Isaac, and Dylan are all guards that are Fae guards. Jonas was King Stormfast's guard, but then got moved to Jelana's retinue. Isaac is King Stormfast's, and Dylan belongs to Hezekiah. Is in his retinue of guards. Stop. And then King Stormfast, and my note literally says, AKA that bastard. King Stormfast does not have a first name, will never have a first name. I will never call him anything other than King Stormfast or just bastard, because I hate him and everybody hates him, and I don't know why he's not dead yet. My note says, right, proper bastard, this one. Everyone hates him. Everyone. Why isn't he dead? I don't know. I can't kill him. I still need the king to be there. So, this video got really long because there's a lot of characters. And I didn't even get into, like, Colt, who's one of the villains, and some of the other society characters, because I'm not going to bother to include them on this list. I think that's all. I'm going to stop this video now. I'll see y'all later, because there is still no place like tomorrow.